My name is Marie Anne Hachey, and I became involved with housing for low income families when I was on Chatham Town Council. That was back in the late 1980s, when I was mandated by the mayor to start to engage in the federal provincial cost sharing program that was to erect housing for low income families. And that was done that way in order that a tie be maintained with the municipality.
Wow. And you've been involved for most of
All
the
of it,
time since then?
yes. Since it's 37 years now.
Okay. And you have recently retired and resigned from the board?
Oh,
A bit more about that.
after 37 years of uh, organizing and providing for these housing, that we have 18 units. I just was no longer physically able to keep up with the program, and so it was came time for either renew our board of directors by way of recruitment,
Yep.
or to find a new body to take it over. I'd attempted recruitment of new members over a period of about 5 years, and I was able to recruit some, but not enough to maintain the board or to turn everything over to a new board. So ended up by finding a party who was willing to take it on while maintaining it as Chatham Nonprofit Housing.
Excellent.
We were very, very fortunate to have found that body.
Excellent. What have been the most rewarding aspects of being involved in affordable housing over the last few decades?
Over the 37 years, I
Yeah.
would say the most rewarding was seeing families who came to us with a real need, and it was for families. And all of our units were three-bedroom units, so most of those who came to us required three bedrooms. It could be four children or two, a boy and a girl,
Right.
or two boys, two girls. And it was watching and seeing how these children grew up in a community that was not a ghetto. They were not part of the welfare community anymore. They were part of a community in the area that had their neighbors were other children of doctors, lawyers, or storekeepers,
Right.
or teachers, and they became part of that community rather than being segregated into the low income people. So they grew up in that community, accepted that as their community, and grew up as people ready to engage with that community in a meaningful way.
So you would say it's safe to say that providing that affordable housing in integrated with other communities has helped not just the generation that moved in, but their children and future generations as well. It's helped give them a good foundation for their lives.
That's right. That's right. And it also, with some of the more affluent types of families, seeing that the people who were not as well off as they were grow up as their playmates
Mhm.
was a healthy experience as well.
And as the affordable housing, now obviously with affordable housing, we need to add more units. Well, across Canada and in New Brunswick and in many communities in New Brunswick, what would your advice be to anyone looking at getting affordable housing built today?
I have come to believe that doing the mix when it comes to apartment buildings or townhousing, doing a mix between uh, regular rental units and provision of how units for the low income families,
Right.
that mix is important. It's important because then you don't ghettoize all of the low income families into one area. They become part of that general community and grow up as part of that general community, which they then will grow up contributing to.
Right. Awesome. The last question. Um, Obviously, there's market housing, and then there's not for profit housing, which includes volunteer board members to to govern those units. Um, what would you say to anyone interested in participating in affordable housing as a potential future board member? What would be your advice or your motivation for someone to actually enter into volunteering time to do that?
Well, I would, I'm not sure I'm answering your first question directly, but I would attempt to find people who have a broader vision of community, and so that broader than themselves, meaning that,
Hmm.
and that that they are accepting of the fact that there are people with low income who are not necessarily deserving of that situation, and anything that can be done to help that family, because it's family oriented,
Yes.
would be a good and positive thing. So, in other words, the board members that would serve would have to have that a broader vision than simply repeats of themselves in community. That by providing for those less fortunate who are willing to take on themselves the responsibility for their own lives is an enhancement to the community.
Understood. So the adage, it takes a village, is true.
Very much so.
Okay.
Very much so.
Okay.